Guys, another outdoor landscape transformation brought to you by the professionals right here at Brooks Landscaping. I'm your landscape geek, Greg Brooks, digital himself, and I'm out here on this landscape to show you some of the ways in which I've come up with an amazing landscape drainage solution to help solve this customer's landscape drainage problem. Now, as you can see, they do have this existing retaining wall stretching itself about 15 feet tall, going about 112 to 15 feet long. And one of the biggest issues that they're now receiving is that the amount of water that is coming out of these weep holes. That's right. The water that comes out of these weep holes is enormous. And that water has caused a lot of landscape drainage problems. So, now, you may say, well, one of the things that you can do is put sod back here. Well, they don't get a lot of sunlight. You could go with the Xeon Zoysia sod, but one of the things that we've concluded is that when you have an area that receives a tremendous amount of water all the time, the only way that you're going to be able to combat it is with an aggregate. That's right, we're talking about a decorative gravel and or a river rock. You guessed it. And so we're going to be solving this customer's drainage problem by providing them with the opportunity to have decorative river rock and decorative gravel be used on this entire landscape. All over where you see this area is receiving a lot of erosion based on the water that is coming out of these weep holes, guys. It says that we're now going to turn that into an area that's going to be able to suck up that water with the river rock and the decorative gravel that we put in. Now, it's also going to be encompassed by erosion control fabric, just like that silk fence fabric. It's just not going to allow that water to get to the bare dirt. Ultimately, it's going to stop all this mud. We see a tremendous amount of mud here just simply because we're able to push ourselves down to the mud. Once we put the erosion control fabric on here, we won't be able to have access to the mud. Rather, that water that you see moving currently is going to have to go through our rocks. And so as it does that, it is also going to be sucked up, and it's going to be able to be dealt with. Originally, we wanted to position ourselves to say that we were going to start our dry creek bed at the bottom down here, right where the gutter downspout is, but I'm now looking at this as I've created this area that you see here, but it was doing whatever it wanted to just recently. I'm suggesting now probably to take this out about 2 feet, guys, and in doing so, I'm going to wrap my decorative river rock all the way back around here, and then I'm going to go into my dry creek bed, and that dry creek bed is going to stretch itself 4 feet wide, and it's going to take itself all the way down this landscape, and then it's going to drop off into what we call a drain box. And that drain box is just going to allow for that water to not have to continue to move down this landscape and tear up the landscape like it's doing currently, but rather go through a piping system that is going to allow for that water to be taken out of the landscape. And so these are some of the ways in which we're going to be able to solve this customer's landscape drainage problem, but also provide them with the outdoor living experience that absolutely lasts a lifetime. And that's why we're focused on solving customers' landscape drainage problems, and we're doing it in a way that is most effective by doing it the only way we know how, which is making that dirt look good like you never thought we could. Now, in addition to that, you can see here, guys, there's a lot of water that is moving on the landscape right here, and it's also created this drainage problem. Anytime you see the landscape is in a situation where the water has been going for some time and it's actually washed out the dirt and you can see where it's done it, you definitely know you're in a rain loves dirt alert, and it says that you are most likely going to be necessary. It's going to be necessary that you put in a dry creek bed, because you can see where the water is moving, and now you have the opportunity to contain that water, no longer allow it to go up under the ground, and then solve this customer's landscape drainage problem once and for all. And so we're going to be allowing that water to come to a specific place with a drain box that's going to be able to take that water up under the ground and then disperse it on the landscape. As you can see here, there's a lot of water that moves on this landscape all the way to the back of the property. That's where we're going to be going. That's where we're going to be taking this water. That's what we do on a consistent basis. We turn landscape dreams into a reality, and we do it in a way that makes our customers happy. We solve their landscape drainage problem, and most importantly, we're here to solve yours. So thank you guys for the time. I did want to make sure I got back out here to show you what we got going on, and it's going to be an absolutely amazing landscape transformation as we get ready to solve this customer's outdoor drainage problem once and for all. I'll even take you over here, guys, to let you see what we're going to be doing on the other side. But this entire area is going to have decorative river gravel, and then it's also going to have decorative river rock along the retaining wall, so that we can take that water that you see has. I've opened this up, guys. Now it's just sitting there, but it's actually moving, and you can see it moving in that it's down on this end here, that you can see the majority of the water as it begins to move through the landscape. And so in our design, even with these weep holes that are producing water, they will be able to be taken up into the river rock and then taken off the landscape in the design that allows us to do so, similar to what you see here. So I know that's going to be extremely effective, and I'm excited to see how well we can make that happen. Now here you can see that there's a lot of water that's coming out of these weep holes as well. That's just saying that that water that comes out of the weep hole is also putting us in a position to where we are now required to put in an erosion control fabric. And right here, we're just going to position ourselves with the river rock design that kind of allows us to be able to take in a lot of this water that comes in this area, slow it down a little bit, and then it's going to continue on its path of destruction, as it does so frequently here on this landscape, just due to the way in which this landscape was designed. But make no mistake about it, I believe 100% of the water on this landscape is now coming from the back of this property. And so by putting in the decorative river rock along with the decorative river gravel, we're going to solve this customer's landscape drainage problem once and for all.